So, and now I would like to invite our panelists. I'm not used to please excuse me. So, Mr. Dimitris Fokas from Angelicoussis Group, Mr. Antonis Iordanidis from Maritime, Mr. Nikos Andreadis, Captain Dimitris Kokkinis, and Mr. Athanasios Bourlios. Also allow me to be seated. So are we all seated? Are we all okay? So to kick off our discussion, I would like to come to Mr. Fokas. Mr. Fokas, you are the head of the training and development of Angelicoussis Group, and you also are the president of the Intertanko Training Committee, am I right?
Καλησπέρα. Chairman of Intertanko.
Chairman.
It works.
So, would you like to share with us what actions has Intertanko taken to ensure a smooth transition to SIRE 2?
Thank you. Καλησπέρα. Good to be back in Posidonia and see such an active, very impressive exhibition. So well done to the organizers to start with. So what has Intertanko done regarding SIRE 2? A lot of things, but in my personal opinion, it's not that our aim is to have good SIRE results. Of course, we all want good SIRE results for commercial reasons, but we need to have a wider, a bigger picture of what, and I will focus mainly only on human element, and how important is human element, not only for SIRE 2 results and inspection, but in general.
Is happening Wednesday to promote the local delivery.
That's Antonis' car. So, what is important for well-being in general and for our seafarers and officers? So, back to some of the terms that the previous speakers have used about behaviors, etc. So, the first thing that Intertanko has done with Kokkinis was 4 years ago, and that was the Big Up. That is a tool to facilitate companies to assess the behaviors of the seafarers. And the main idea of the Big Up was to have a simple tool, mainly to raise awareness of the importance of soft skills. Okay. And this is a flexible and easy tool, and this assessment can be done during the audits, technical audits that are carried out on board the vessel. So that is the idea. So soft skills, behaviors can be assessed and can be improved. Okay, so that is the concept. And this is of course related to SIRE 2, etc. because human factor is a very important part of SIRE 2. And of course we want to improve the interviews, the response of our seafarers and officers, etc. etc. So this is the bigger picture. Regarding SIRE 2 in particular, of course Intertanko has issued the guidance with the questionnaires. This huge O'Keefe questionnaire is reduced to something more manageable, etc., etc. That's the idea. But on top of that, I would like to say another initiative of Intertanko was a survey that was done to the seafarers, and that was published 2 months ago. And I don't know if you have seen it, but if you haven't, please try to find it. It's available on the internet. And there we have some very interesting regarding the response from the seafarers and how they feel about their career in general. So one very good and very positive outcome is that seafarers feel that they work in a safe environment. This is very important. and that took many years of efforts from the maritime industry to go to that level so that everybody is happy now with safety. This is a big step, we should not forget that. Another very important finding in that survey, and I want to mention that to you, is what do you think is are the two most important elements for well-being on board? Okay, the easy one is internet, access to internet. What would be the second one? What do you think? They are rated on the same level.
Food.
Food, no, they are happy with food.
Wait.
Anybody else?
Internet.
Internet was the first one. We have another one.
Rest hours.
No, they are happy with the rest hours. So the second one, to our surprise as well, was mentoring. Seafarers want mentoring, and they rate it as important as internet access. And this is new. We like that finding, and we should work as Intertanko, as an industry as well, towards improving mentoring on board, and also mentoring while seafarers are ashore. And now Intertanko, the final one is that we are going to submit some proposals to IMO because STCW is under review now during that period. So we take advantage of that review and propose some new approaches based on the results of the survey, in particular regarding mentoring, human factors, etc. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this explanation, Mr. Fokas. Very, very interesting, especially the last point with the mentoring. Mr. Iordanidis, I will come to you now. You are the General Manager of Esteemed Marine Consulting Firm in general. So, from your perspective, what are your impressions from mock Siren 2 inspections within the industry? Could you share your feedback?
Yes, thank you. We have seen from Nikos some statistics from the trials, Siren 2 trials, but I think Nikos, the statistics of Intertanko are limited because in fact there are less than 30 and we have more than 100. But even with the biggest sample, what we see is that the majority of the observations are in, as you said, in the area of procedures. I think there is a reason for this. The reason, I think, is the following. We have the same inspectors doing Siren 2. These guys go on board today as per the existing VIQ, do the inspections, and everybody knows that they identify 1, 2, 3 observations. These observations are 99% focused on hardware. So the current results of the existing VIQ is 2 or 3 observations focused on hardware. They cannot go on board the vessel now and identify 50 observations on hardware because it's the same vessel. So they know that this is their limit, 2 or 3 observations focused on hardware. The second category is the human, let's say, factors. And what we see is that they're reluctant to identify many observations in this area. Why? I think there are 2 reasons. One is that they don't feel comfortable saying that Nikos is not fully aware for something, because it's like a personal debate. And they don't feel comfortable to have a debate with the chief officer or the rating. The second is that they are obliged to go to this list, the famous PIF, as you said, and this is another black box for them. They are not capable to go in this list of personal influencing factors. This list is for them a nightmare. Frankly speaking, I think they are not capable even to understand what is these 10 points. So they are afraid to go in this area. And this list of the personal influencing factors, the PIF, need a lot of knowledge, culture. There is no culture in our industry, you know this. So they are afraid to go in this area. And the most easy category is procedures. It is like Alpha-Marine paying them to identify gaps. But this is not true, as you know. So procedure for them is easy because it's not, let's say, a personal debate. They say the procedure is not good or not clear enough or whatever, and it's an observation easy for the companies to handle because at the end of the day, you will handle or I will handle, somebody will fix the procedure and finish. Because if you have an observation which is, let's say, focused on the human element, then in fact you will have no idea of what you will do. What is the solution if, let's say, an observation has as a reason that the chief officer is not motivated? What you will do? You will motivate him, you will send him $1,000 to motivate him. So it's a fake, let's say, picture that we see. At the end of the day, the benchmarking is, as Nikos said, and I mean the following. Majority is the procedures, and for sure this is the priority for every company. And the point is that SIRE is so detailed, and these details which are included there are missing from the majority of the civil companies, of the system of the civil companies. So this should be a priority, the procedures. Sooner or later, it will be the human element. And I think in the next few years, you will see a trend. The procedures of the companies will be, let's say, improved. And at the end of this road, we will see the human element to be the big issue.
Mr. Iordanidis, I'm really sorry, but since we have a strict timeline to stick to,
Sorry.
I'm really sorry for that, but there's another conference coming up soon. So, Mr. Andreadis, you are a Maritime HR executive. So, I would love to hear your thoughts on how does the focus on the human factor in SIRE 2 genuinely improve safety?
Yes, we expected that whatever we do with SIRE 2 and understanding human factors, the more we understand safety will improve. This is the answer to this question for me is we should do this. Yes, we should move down this road. How do I know? How do we know that this will work eventually? We don't have to make prediction about the future. We just need to check the past. If you check other industries that are way ahead of us, aviation, for example, nuclear industries, for example, they have done a lot of work on the specific area. They are specialized in human factors. They study, they do what we start to do now. Some other industries, they are doing that for decades now, and they have improved. Also, if you remember the graph that we have seen with the safety improvement we have in our industry, you will see that with the introduction, for example, of procedures is a human factors component, safety was improved. We got specialized with these procedures, we got better. Now, the more we study and the more we get in every field in our industry, it improves us. Now, there's another last thing that we need to keep in mind. If you study incidents, if you see investigations, I believe that there is virtually not even one, I exaggerate on that, allow me to do this, that does not contain the human action or the human component. So what we did up until now, we virtually disregarded. Although all our trends are there, situational awareness, complacency, motivation, alerting other people, root causes for incidents and accidents. We didn't focus, we didn't do anything about that. Now somebody will ask, okay, why we didn't do that and why we didn't focus and so on and so forth. I think the answer is because we find it and it is quite complicated. It's quite easier to introduce new technologies or double hole. It's easier to have procedures and create, let's say, barriers around human action than actually getting into this very complex system, understand it, map it, and eventually improve it. Now this is the era where we are about to do this, virtually because we have specialized and improved all other factors, and we actually succeeded, and we need to focus on something new. I want to assure you that good companies have nothing to be afraid of looking into this black box. It's something that we can understand. I can see improvements in the industry already. I see when I'm having discussions or trainings with top management or officers, crew members, even ratings, for example, the mentality is changing. So people, our front line, for example, start to understand the importance of the PIFs, for example, that it has introduced. Our officers and our office personnel is much more specialized compared to the personnel a decade ago. We understand much more regarding the human complexity. We understand much more regarding stress, mental health, behavioral competencies, interaction with alarms. We are becoming more and more specialized. So yes, the answer is yes, we will improve. Safety will become better. And it's just a matter of process, and it's just a matter of time until we see the results. Just do not expect to see the impact of the improvement tomorrow. We need some years to consolidate the new knowledge and the new experiences that we get through this new area. I just want to tell you, don't be afraid of it. Step by step, baby steps, and we'll get to it. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Fokas. Captain Dimitris, as a vetting manager of a major shipping company, you were one of the first who came face to face with this new Shire 2 thing. Would you like to share what were the primary challenges you had to face?
Thank you. From the ship management perspective, we all know we are from the same field ASU, all of us here, so the challenges are uncountable. We have a completely new process which focuses greatly on the human factor. We have everything is different. Everything has changed or is changing. And allow me to use the key messages which OCIMF had given, which one of those is that SIRE 2.0 isn't business as usual, and SIRE 2.0 is transformational and needs change of mindset and behavior by all. I believe that this is where we have to stand, all involved parties, starting of course from us in the shipping companies, and take it up from there. We have more workload for everybody. We have a huge bunch of stuff that have to be uploaded in advance. We have to verify, as very correctly Captain Angelicoussis have earlier noted, we have to verify that they are accurate and according to the process, which means that everything comes to us, to the shipping management. If you wish, from the even the most minor observation that can be or could be noted on board the vessel in the past, there were some that were just, let's say, 1.5 line responsibility was okay, just a mission of the onboard personnel, and some fluorescent signs that need to be replaced, and some minor things like this. There are no minors anymore. From the most minor to the most major, everything is coming back to us, and this is where we have to start. Now, as far as the trials is concerned, I would like to say that we are in the beginning. everybody needs to be trained. Yes, we do have our own issues. Inspectors also have their own issues. The system itself, by itself, has its own issues. I have own experience where we have uploaded the data and finally the data couldn't leave from the OCIMF database and go to the assigned inspector's tablet. So we were obliged, following a number of numerous communications, to okay, let's take them out and let's do the job again. Okay, finally they did it, and what I can say is that it is the beginning. I do not think that I disagree, politely disagree with the expression that they are afraid to note the observation. We have seen in the past observations which were clearly expressing that the navigation officer was not familiar, was not aware. So the most key point for us in the shipping companies, I believe, is that we have to focus on that part. It is almost 1,500 times that within the OCIMF library we see the peculiarity, awareness, etc. We find it there. So this is the core point that we have to focus. I really liked what Mr. Fokas earlier said about what required by seafarers' motivation, and I can tell you something, being one of the older wolves now in our industry. I can tell you that I'm repeating that to the colleagues within and in general, or within my company or with other companies as well, that we are not giving particular attention to our people on board.
Okay, sorry.
When we have joined, I will say that in closing, when we have joined the vessels, we have learned the vessels not from the shipmaster but from the ship's bosuns. For one way or another in the last years, we have lost the ship bosuns and we lost also the mentoring on board. The greatest lessons have been given from the petty officers and not by the master. So this is where we have to step one step back and focus all our attention there, and everything is going to roll smooth. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Bourlios, I will come to you now. Would you like to inform us what does SQLearn do as a specialized maritime training provider to address the gaps and the challenges mentioned?
Thank you, Katerina. Thank you everyone for being here today, and of course until too late. I have heard the previous experienced panelists very carefully, and believe me, I'm not going to give you such important hints or such important data, but I would try to help you find out what an e-learning provider can do in order to assist companies cover a part of the whole thing. So the first thing is that we are trying to be always updated. What that means is that we always need to develop new courses. We have an extensive library. This library covers training needs for various types of vessels, and in order to comply with all the new legislations and all the new era that is coming, especially for the SIRE 2.0, we are always there in order to develop new courses. The feedback that we have for the seafarers is that they love the animations, they love the gamification, they love the games, just like the kids. So we have all these included in our courses in order to be for them to be easier to complete them, and of course after completing the course getting a certification. But we are doing one very important thing. We are close to the shipping companies and of course close to the stakeholders. That gives us the advantage to hear from the same companies what are the training needs, and once we have the training needs, then we can see what are the e-learnings that they can cover them. I would like to give you two small examples. Then stop me, please, Katerina. Two small examples on how we have worked the last months. First of all, regarding because we don't only have the SIRE 2.0, but we also have the risk inspection questionnaire for the bulk carriers. What our team has done is to check all the questionnaire, see what are the training needs that can be covered from e-learning courses, and once we had all this list, we did the matching with our library. So we could find out what are the courses that we have already developed, what are the courses that they need to be upgraded, and of course, what are the courses that we need to develop. For example, hazardous material, mental health, etc., etc. So that was the first example. The second one is the SIRE 2.0, where apart from this matching, we also created, let's say, a proposed training matrix. This training matrix is something that we give to the companies that come to SQLearn and includes all the trainings that can cover training needs arising from the SIRE 2.0, and the companies can cover through e-learning. But apart from that, we have also developed 4 courses that are not just covering training needs, but are courses that help people familiarize with the new era that comes, familiarize and see what are the differences between the SIRE that we all used to know, the SIRE 2.0, and of course, preparation for people in the office, preparation for people on board, and the last one for the human element and the importance of the human factor on board the vessel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bourlios. Before moving to the second round, I would like to ask if anyone of the esteemed panelists would like to add something, has another point to share regarding the first round. Yes, Mr.
One point only, that we are discussing about SIRE 2. But as you said, exactly the same story is about the bulk carriers. And the bulk carrier industry has to, let's say, take more strong effort and to spend time and money and whatever is needed, because they have to do a lot of things in order to cover the latest industry requirements. And again, in the bulk carrier industry, again the same story. At the center of the whole standards, and it is the risk, but also the dry BMS or DBC is again the human element. So it's not only SIRE 2. And the second, Katerina, is the following. Now is the time for SQLearn to prove if training, e-learning is, let's say, effective. Because till today, the majority of the shipping companies, what they ask is about a certification, just to prove that we have a certificate, a paper. In Manila, you can take any paper with €1. Now is the time to see if the training we provide to the crew has any added value, is efficient and effective. Because at the end of the day, everybody will have a certificate from SQLearn or from whatever other organization, but the critical question is, do you know what you have to know? So it's the time to prove that SQLearn is indeed a good company with efficient products. I think this is Spiro for you.
Thank you, Mr. Iordanidis.